Let me get some of this water. I don't have brownie throat. I have Wellbutrin throat.
Oh, you don't want that. Remember, I got one stuck in my throat once.
Wellbutrin?
It's horrifically painful. Google it. It's like a thing. It burns for like 20 hours. I'm not kidding.
Oh, shit.
You want to take it with a ton of water. They don't tell you that.
Yeah, I don't want that at all.
Anyway.
Welcome back to another edition of Zero Block 30. Today we have a couple rounds of the magazine. I'm so flustered, I don't even know
we
how
got
many
tech problems.
We got tech
back problems.
Kate has a broken back in like 45 places. I don't know how you're doing it.
Honestly, me neither. It's been very validating that I'm not a huge pussy.
Yeah,
you know?
But then there's nothing. It had to be incredibly frustrating that they didn't know. You don't have anything you could do, really.
They don't know why my bones are all breaking, and they don't know if they'll continue breaking, and they don't know, and they know that there's really nothing they can do about it. So
wait, I mean, aren't doctors supposed to know those things?
I have more testing this week. I have a whole bunch of different appointments and tests, and they're going to try and figure it out. So hopefully I don't break anymore between now and then.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, for those that don't pay attention to the Barstool world, really, Kate got a call when she was on the Yak last week, and the VA doctor told her what?
That I had multiple fractures up and down my spine and that I needed to go to the ER. So after work on Friday, I went to the ER, and God bless the VA for getting done in a week what I tried to spend 4 months doing at a civilian hospital. Like, truly, dumb me. I'm always telling other vets, go to the VA, go to the VA.
Oh, me and Cons told you 1,700,852 times.
Yes, you did.
Indeed we did.
But I had been established with like these various other doctors since I moved here, and I thought, keep it within the same system. And nope, I should have gone to the VA. Within an hour, I had more x-rays, CAT scan, blah, blah, blah. And I have 8 fractures up and down my spine.
8 is so crazy.
Yeah.
It's not like you're an extreme sports athlete on the weekends, Kate. Where do these fractures come from? Is this just like degeneration over time from things that happened when you were playing rugby or the military?
No. I think I have osteoporosis from breastfeeding. It's really rare, but it's it sucks all the if you don't have enough calcium, your baby's getting all the calcium from your body, and your spine essentially starts to crumble. So no. I'm working now on switching him over to formula, which has been a whole thing because he's not into that. And but it's been a whole thing, and I haven't been able to lift my own son for about 4 months now, which has been it's really tough to take care of kids when you can't pick them up. It's very difficult. So my parents are in town this week helping me because Pat's traveling, and we're like a clown car, the 3 of us. My dad has a bad back, can't see very well.
Yeah,
Mom's got osteoporosis
like last year, right?
So it was the 3 of us this morning trying to get my son out of the car. We're like, all 3 of us like, we're a clown show. And
you were kind of fucked from the beginning if it's a bone issue.
Yeah. Yeah, we're screwed. We're just screwed.
It's like when you have diabetes or something. But every time you mention that osteoporosis thing, every time you do it, I know you're not an office head, but I think about when Dwight ate his twin. Like where he is so powerful because he absorbed all the power from his twin. That's kind of what I think.
Well, I'm hoping they heal. What's that movie where the kid breaks his arm and then he can throw a fastball and he makes it in the MLB?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. I'm hoping I'll be able to drop, pop, and lock it like crazy after I heal.
That kid's underrated as far as being a childhood movie star. Because he was in that, and A Knight's Tale was great as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he grew up and he was in all the American Pies.
Was he?
That's right. And then where is he now?
Who is he in American Pie?
He's Kevin, one of the main guys.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he looks different.
Uh-huh.
Well, that happens sometimes when people grow up from 12 to adulthood.
That's exactly right. And sometimes whenever you're growing up from active duty to the veteran status, you might want to go to the VFW, who is our presenting partner. Legitimately, I'm so happy to have them as a presenting partner.
Yeah.
Sometimes whenever you do ads, it's like things that you're like, oh, I like this a lot. I fucking love the VFW. There's a difference between liking the product and loving it. And the more and more I get messages every single week when we post out the clips from the show, or we post out social media clips about the VFW, I get messages in my DMs that are so fulfilling, being like, since you guys started talking about it, I contacted my local VFW. Did you know there's 2,600 VFW volunteers that help you with your claims?
I did not know that.
That's
I knew that just because of,
they're helping you.
Yeah, because they're helping me currently. Yeah.
but that's so many, man. Like that they do, and it's the Major Richard Starr Act, which I'm hoping to get Major Richard Starr's wife on the pod, so she can really talk about the struggles that he had and why that would be really beneficial. We talk about the what is it called? The PACT? No, the PACT Act.
Yeah, we know that one. Yeah.
Oh, TAPS, the TAPS Act. That's what I knew. It was like something close. Where there's been dudes, even the guy that's helping us on social media, Tim. He's talked about how that's going to help him. Like the transition out is something. I think that's probably the question that Cons gets the most. Would you say about transitioning out? Because you're good at talking about that.
Yeah. Just because I think, number one, people don't understand what's available to them when they transition. They don't realize, they think, oh, I have these skills, and once I leave the military, they become obsolete, when that's not even the case. Especially if you're trying to go to like corporate America, you're not realizing how you can sell yourself to an employer, and how your skill set is actually in line with a lot of skill sets that our employers are looking for. So it can be tough.
And why is it tough? Because the TAPS program is a joke, and that's what they're trying to fix, right?
And so if you have somebody, one of these 2,400 people in the VFW that are going to help you out, that's exactly who you need to go for. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about them going after claim sharks. Got another message this week from a dude whose mama got fucked, just like they were trying to do my mama too. Don't be messing with the mamas. Because I feel like that's even worse. Like doing it to the veteran is obviously terrible. That's who is owed. But a lot of times when a veteran passes away, it's their family that brings on that type of, really, like it's a trouble. Like they have to go through all these it's a burden. Thank you, Cons. It's a burden for them to go through all these different processes that are very confusing. And luckily the VFW will help them out as well. So if one of your loved ones is struggling with this, and you hear them say, you even overhear them say, I'm having trouble locating the DD-214. I'm having trouble locating the correct paperwork to get this process. The process the claim got denied. I need somebody to help me with the, what word am I looking here now? Appeal. Yeah. So it's going to be a rough show, folks. I'm looking for the appeal. Either way, go to the VFW. You can check it out by going don'tfeedthesharks.org, which is going to help you with the claim shark situation, give you some information there and what you could do. Or if you want to join, you can go to vfw.org/join, or you can go to vfw.org/barstool. You could do either one. We don't care as long as you join. Shout out again to the VFW for being the presenting partner on our show. Again, I love it.
Hell yeah.
What I don't love, before we get going, I saw something this morning that made me, I feel bad about being excited about it, but it gave me an absolute thrill when I was driving to work this morning. No, not, well, yeah. And also, speaking of boobs, if you would have told me when I was 14 years old, I didn't think about this. Every day, basically, for the last 15 years, I've seen tits.
Yeah, your wife's
fucking
boobs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. So you're absolutely right, Kate. Thank you for that pick-me-up.
You're welcome.
Secondly, whenever I was driving in, what made me excited? I haven't seen it in a long time, but just straight up littering.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
It's awful. It's terrible for the environment. I disavow it. I think you're unhinged if you do it. But it was so blatant this morning. It was a coffee cup, and the shitty little paper bag that they'll put like your breakfast sandwiches, which you're an animal if you eat a Starbucks breakfast sandwich. You throw both of them straight out the window.
Oh, yeah.
And went on his merry way.
In traffic with people to see. Yeah, they don't.
I was a couple times astounded.
The most crazy one I saw was when I lived in Jersey, was an Uber driver who just pulled over to the side of the road and emptied all his trash out just right there.
While you were in there?
No, I wasn't in it. I was walking the baby. And I was like, wow, that guy's just emptying all his trash out into the... And if I wasn't with the baby, I totally would have beat his ass,
Yeah, people are like,
but I had the baby.
That's one of the only situations if you see a crime happen that you could do a citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be flashing my lights in my Hyundai Tucson to go out there and get somebody
putting my
for
life
littering.
On the line.
I mean, cops here don't even... Go ahead, Cons.
I was just going to say, if I witnessed this, if I was you and I didn't have a pressing timeline, I'd follow that person and I would follow them far. And then when they finally got to their destination, I would get out and say, are you serious? Did you really just throw that cup?
I think my
Just out
favorite
of
one.
principle.
My favorite one I saw was a guy littering, and a person on a bike next to him saw it, picked it up, and threw it right back in their
I've seen that
window. And
video.
yeah.
That's a good one.
Don't let Gunny see it. It's gonna
No.
make you a police
If
call
it
the
was
whole
me
city.
and I was like doing what cons did, I'd tell them that they need to go pick that shit up and put it in their cargo pocket.
That's right, put it in their cargo pockets. Damn straight.
All right, let's move on to the actual show today. We're going to be talking about Haiti and what's going on there. Catherine, you want to walk us through this?
Yes. Do you mind shifting it over a little? Okay, so criminal gangs more powerful than Haiti's state security forces have attacked prisons and the airport serving the country's capital, forcing businesses and schools to close and driving an estimated 15,000 people out of their homes in Port-au-Prince. On March 12th, Prime Minister Ariel Henry announced he would resign once a transitional presidential council was created, capitulating to international pressure as his country faced what experts had already labeled a low-scale civil war. Basically, the whole country's run by gangsters right now, and it's like absolute chaos.
In this one city, I looked it up, there's 300 gangs.
Yeah, it's crazy. Henry announced his decision hours after officials, including Caribbean leaders and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, met in Jamaica to discuss a solution to Haiti's spiraling crisis.
I still feel like the Secretary of State's name is stolen valor.
Anthony.
No. Blinken.
Oh, Blinken.
Like Abe Lincoln. It's so close.
Oh, Blinken. I never even put that together. I'll be damned. The UN's top human rights official had warned days earlier that the situation in Haiti was beyond untenable, noting that more than 1,190 people had been killed since the start of 2024 alone. But the chaos and bloodshed started long before that in the deeply impoverished Caribbean nation, and international efforts to send help have gone nowhere.
So have you seen just how poor Haiti is?
It's horrible.
Well, I was telling you guys, was it the earthquake I'm sure it'll get into it here, but what year was that?
2010.
2010 just completely crumpled the whole country. And
there was cholera outbreaks.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Cholera.
But so another veteran on Twitter said that he and his buddies had done multiple combat tours, but that all of them, their PTSD stems from the human suffering they saw in Haiti, especially among women and children, was just horrendous.
Yeah. I mean, for even, we have a rampant homelessness problem, in the veteran community. And there's cities that have a very large homeless encampments. And that doesn't even come close to what these people saw probably in Haiti. And I found it interesting when I was reading this, and it occurred to me that I think people think third world country, they think like, oh, they don't have food, they don't have running water, which is true and very unfortunate. But what they also lack, and what we're seeing here, is the lack of law and order. They just are primal in nature, and they're doing what they have to survive. And it's crazy to even think about.
Yeah, and how it got here. The latest episode of major violence flared up on February 29th when Prime Minister Henry flew to Kenya to push for the UN-backed deployment of a police force to help fight the gang. So he's asking he's like, anybody out there in the world want to come help me because these gangs are just everywhere. Heavy gunfire echoed across the capital as prominent gang leader Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier announced that his group, G9, was joining forces with other gangs to force Henry to step down. How do you pronounce that? Cherizier?
I have no idea.
Has denied.
I don't know, but one thing I will say is you need a better gang name than G9.
Yeah, so he has denied that his nickname, Barbecue, came from accusations of his setting people on fire. Instead, he says it was from his mother having been a fried chicken street vendor.
See, and I disagree with this. I feel like we need to get down to it. Your name would be fried. You wouldn't be barbecued. No, I don't care if it's Haiti. I don't care if it's Zimbabwe. I don't care if it's Sri Lanka or Alabama. Nobody refers to fried chicken as barbecue.
Right, exactly.
Nobody.
Exactly.
You got that name because you were setting people on fire.
Yep, absolutely. And Barbecue started out on the straight and narrow. He was a police officer for the Haitian National Police before becoming a gang leader. He belonged to Unit for the Maintenance of Order, which was a special unit within the Haitian National Police.
I read about that. It's supposed to be SWAT on like steroids.
Okay. He became a gang leader, perpetuating multiple large-scale massacres. And to rise to a position of such power in such chaos when there's so many gangs, you have zero mercy. You don't have a bone of goodness in your body. Like, you just absolutely brutal human being. When he was a police officer, he's alleged to have perpetuated the 2018 La Saline massacre, in which at least 71 people were killed and 400 homes were burned down. Another massacre killed 9 people, the Bel Air massacre. And he was in 2018 was fired by Haitian National Police. Probably gotta get him out of there.
That union was strong. It took
That
him
was
a while.
strong, good police union down there. On March 5th, with Henry still in his role, though not in the country, Barbecue warned that if the premier didn't resign and if the international community continues to support him, we'll be heading straight for civil war that will lead to genocide. Either Haiti becomes a paradise or a hell for all of us. It's out of the question for a small group of rich people living in big hotels to decide the fate of people in working class neighborhoods.
See, now in this, I feel like for my entire life, and really even recently, probably right now, when you see an uprising in a country and you see what's called, quote, rebel groups or gangsters or something like that, do you feel like it's the natural inclination for people to side on the government of whatever country that's in? Like this, for example, I don't know anything about the ins and out of Haitian politics. But if this guy, when you read some of the shit, like the president was appointed after one of the prime ministers stepped down, and now that appointed president's like, they're supposed to have elections this year, it's like, no, we're not going to do it until the middle of 2025. If that happened here and somebody just placed themselves as president, there would be large scale riots, or not, maybe not riots, but big time protests. There would be riots.
It wouldn't go over
There
very
would
well.
definitely be
No,
riots.
you're right. I think the default is that the government's going to do the right thing and that the person who comes to power isn't going to be the corrupt one. But that's what it seems like is the case here. And maybe not that violence is justified, but them rising up and saying, wait a second, we need to do this properly. Maybe that part is justified.
But that being said, could be completely not justified.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you can't read. I went and read from ABC, CNN, Reuters, Al Jazeera, all these different places to get the best information that I possibly could to have an informed opinion. I think it's I don't think you have the ability to do that based on just news reports.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I guess you got to go to Haiti, chaps, and figure it out.
Yeah.
But you won't be able to get there. Even Henry has been unable to enter Haiti for weeks because the violence closed its main international airports. He arrived. So basically, the gangs have taken over the airports. They've taken in what can come in, what can go out. And again, once a gang takes over, as it looks like it's going to happen, this barbecue guy may become like the de facto gang leading the country. What happens? Sanctions, and things get even worse for the people that are there. It's absolute nightmare. I feel bad for everybody here who has family there. Like I cannot imagine what these people are about to go through, that they've already been going through hell.
There's a documentary that I watched a couple years ago about Haiti, and I think it was actually about that earthquake.
Yeah.
And they were so poor. Like the Haitian level of poor is so different than really anything that I've seen here. Like they were so poor in some areas and so malnourished that they had to result. When people are that poor, you have to do whatever you possibly can. Like I'm reading this book called The Poppy Wars right now, that it's a series that takes place in China, and it's like a little bit of a fantasy book. But they talk about being on mission where they've been gone and doing ground combat, doing all kinds of combat for really months on end. And after a while, their food rations for their army got to be so low that they resulted to lifting up logs and picking up maggots and eating bugs and things like that. And a lot of times we look at it and be like, that's so far beneath me. But when you are in that position, you have to do whatever you possibly can. They have these folks that live in certain areas of what the quote slums of what that would be. They take cornstarch and they mix the cornstarch with rice powder and then put that into legitimate mud, and they will lay it out and they call them cookies. And so that's the way that their bellies feel full, is that they're eating just a tiny little bit of nutrition, and then they're legitimately eating dirt.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. And I mean, I've just recently rewatched the latest movie about the rugby team that crashed in the Andes in the 70s that resorted to cannibalism, or the movie 127 Hours, where the man resorted to chopping off his own arm. When you're pushed to the brink, you ultimately, I think, are forced to do things that you never thought you could ever stoop to, like eating mud cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The latest round of attacks began in late February after Henry pledged to hold long-awaited elections, but not until mid-2025, as Chap said. He'd been due to step down voluntarily by February, but declined to do so, infuriating many Haitians and sparking the gang's uprising.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
I mean, I don't care where you're at in the world. That'll do it.
U.S. officials have said proposals to send a UN-authorized security force to Haiti have been unsuccessful so far, because quite honestly, that would be an incredibly dangerous mission, it sounds like. Like, you're probably going to get shot at pretty hard if you do such a thing. The embattled prime minister remains unable to return home, and he's in Puerto Rico as of last Tuesday. And my heart just breaks for the people who are being kicked like a soccer ball in between.
Legitimately,
who just want to
between the crossfire.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
So interested to see how that develops, but not looking good.
And we talked about the stories, but I think it's different when you see just words. Like whenever you see words on a news article, you see people talking about it and you don't see any images. Google the images of what's happening in Haiti right now. And if you want to feel bad for humanity, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Like what they're going through. And there's several spots around the world that are currently going through that.
Zero Block 30 is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's very helpful if Chaps brings us around that brings us down. And we come right back up.
Yeah.
But a lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. That was me this morning with my little candy cane spine and my parents here, and we're all trying to get the baby in the car. And I was 10 minutes late to the show. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find what matters most so you can do more of it. If you've benefited from therapy, feel free to share your I have benefited from therapy, and I am going to share
Keep going, Kate. Keep going.
Actually, it's funny enough, with my back and everything going on, I actually did.
Ron Burgundy head ass.
Because I've done BetterHelp before, especially during the pandemic and a couple other times. But I actually started making my profile and looking for a therapist again the other day. And it was even cathartic filling out, because they ask you, like, what's going on at the end, as you're clicking your preferences. And I want a woman therapist. I want this. I want that. I'm here for this. And then it asks you, like, okay, give us a little spiel about what's going on, buddy. I unloaded on that thing like I was butter jam.
You're like Dane Cook. I did my best.
Yeah, I did but I really, even that was cathartic. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out the brief questionnaire, go off in the section where it asks you what's going on like I did, and get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/0 to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/0.
All right, let's get going with round number 2. Real quick round. There was an article that came out from our friends at Military Time that talked very briefly about the DOD and the VA are to allow IVF for unmarried and same-sex couples. To me, this being a news article is fucking bananas. Like, how did we get to this place where this is news? Because IVF is healthcare. Like, if you want to have a baby, you should be able to do this and get IVF. I think that anything that you do medically under the sun should be covered by TRICARE and the VA.
Yeah. Especially, I know more and more women that I know, especially, coworkers, friends, family members, they're doing the egg retrieval. They're storing there because they're like, I don't know when, I don't know whatever. Especially in the military, your career, you're deploying, you're doing this, you're doing that. I would hope any woman would be able to do that kind of stuff, whether she has a partner or not. Like, go for it.
I agree. And I really put this on because I saw one TikTok that I had no idea about this. I feel like I know a decent amount about the anatomy, whether that be female or male anatomy.
Okay.
Done school, like taking classes. I had no idea cum was just dumped in the belly when it's done.
What?
Yeah, it's fascinating. So you know how one sperm...
Oh, I already hate this. Go ahead.
One sperm will go up and it'll fertilize, right? So there's one egg that's fertilized. The other folks have nowhere to go. So they're just not hanging out and being like, damn, We didn't have anywhere to go. They're fucking still swimming, dude. They're swimming.
They do not swim up to the belly. They do not.
So
no,
look it up. Look it up. They come in through the fallopian
look it up on
tube.
TikTok.
They looked through it was a doctor. It was a fucking OBGYN.
No.
And she was
anybody can call themselves a doctor on TikTok.
Thank you.
She was in a white robe in a hospital.
Yeah.
So she comes in. She says, she doesn't do this hand motion that I'm doing, kind of like a really terrible follow through on a 3-pointer. She doesn't do that. But she says that it goes to the fallopian tube. And then you get to the end. And it's like one of those water slides that have like the full tube where it just, you jump out of it. The semen essentially jumps out of it and then just floats around in the belly. Kate, your thoughts?
Cons, please help me.
So anyway, getting back to IVF, it's relatively a new procedure.
Come in the belly.
No one cares about that. What I think is important.
Wow.
Also, I was reading this article. You can't just walk in and say, "Hey, I want IVF." The only way you qualify for it is if it's you have reproductive issues due to a service-connected injury, which I thought was like, oh, that isn't as exciting as the initial headline reads. So I was just curious if you guys think it should be you have to be service-connected injury, or maybe you just have issues conceiving and you should be able to do it if you're VA and DOD connected. What do you guys think?
This is your medical care. Like, I don't care where it comes from. Your medical care, man. Like, if it's IVF is part of your medical care. There's a ton of stuff that we do on active duty that has nothing to do with service readiness.
Well,
so
I don't know what the policy was before, but the revised policy covers the cost of assisted reproductive technology for troops and their spouses, partners, and surrogates. It also allows service members to use donor eggs and sperm. So I guess before you couldn't use donor egg or sperm or anything like that. Yeah, they should be able to. The change follows 2 lawsuits filed against the VA last year, which says the department's IVF policies discriminated against LGBTQ veterans. So, yeah.
I think not just that, but anybody that's trying to have a baby that couldn't and it wasn't paid for.
Yeah,
and also I said to you guys in text, like, that's an expensive procedure to do on your own. It's not like, hey, you just show up and anybody can afford it. That's the thing about it. It's cost prohibitive. So if you can get it done on the VA or DOD's dime, that's amazing.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to round number 3. There was another analyst that's intelligence. Army cons again, trying to sell these secrets. What's going on here, Kate?
Oh, here we go again. An Army intel analyst told a contact that he believed was in Hong Kong that he wished he could be who, chaps?
Jason Bourne.
Jesus Christ, Jason Bourne.
Jesus Christ, he's Jason
As
Bourne.
he sold secret documents on major U.S. weapon systems, Corbin Schultz.
He had no choice. Listen to how this fella's name is spelled.
Corbin.
Korbein. Everything is wrong about that, including the I before E, except after C. Like, this guy's name, he was due to be unhinged.
Corbin?
Yeah.
Well, I bet it's probably pronounced Corbin.
Yeah, that's
Corbin
what I would think it's Corbin.
Yeah,
it got butchered whenever he had a substitute teacher in 4th grade.
That's right. Well, I'm calling him Corbin because he's spilling beans all
Corbin
over our
in prison. Am I right?
I'll be damned. He sold documents about the HIMARS missile system, the F-22 fighter, and the HH-60W, the Air Force's newest rescue helicopter. Schultz said Justice Department provided sensitive government info to his co-conspirator in exchange for thousands of dollars, placing personal profit above the American people. Corbin held a top secret security clearance, a status that a foreign agent targeted through the indictment. It doesn't say who the agent worked for, what country, where they came from. I'd say probably Russia, if I had to guess, or China.
I think top secret has turned into what everybody in the military is a sniper. I feel like whenever you talk about marksman, I was looking it up this morning. Guess how many people in the United States have a secret or confidential security clearance?
100,000.
Cons?
No, way higher than that, because that's like the lowest level. I bet you it's in the maybe 1 million.
3.2 million.
Guess
how many have top secret?
1 million.
1.2 million people have top secret. Like, that's like the entirety of the Army. Like,
I no
more
longer
so.
feel
That's
special.
like every person in the Army has a fucking clearance.
And as we've seen, it's not going well. Every
No.
week we have a new story
Maybe
about,
we should
by
have
the
less,
way,
yeah.
Jack Teixeira got 15 years in prison, I think.
Yeah.
Was the final thing for him. But anyway.
Let's watch that with what he put out and then what Trump is alleged to have had.
In
it
his
ain't
closet,
gonna be 15 years. Promise you that.
No, but the spy that Schultz worked with paid him about $42,000 in a long series of small payments. Buddy, you got to know your worth.
42 grand.
Honey,
you're gonna get
sweetie.
10 grand. That's like $4,000 a year.
That's cute and all, but
Those
that's
are
not
rookie
worth
money.
it.
That's what Ben Affleck wanted in his back pocket when he was going to see defense contractors.
Well, the spy told Schultz they lived in Hong Kong and worked for a geopolitical consulting firm. Do you think it was Donnie?
Could
Our
have
own
been.
Donnie does.
Yeah.
Schultz is accused of sending the info on the helicopter Air Force tactic techniques and procedures manual for blah blah blah. Yeah, it was 42,000. You got
like this
more than that.
42 grand. That's like, I mean, I'm not shaking my nose at 42 grand, but brother, if I'm gonna betray my country, that I need $3 million.
You know what? I wish I was really good at Photoshop or something where I could make up documents about these planes and all this stuff and sell it for money to China.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Right?
That's a really good idea.
Just goose them a little bit and then buy a new Hyundai.
Maybe even put information that if they were to try to duplicate, it would actually destroy their equipment.
Right. There's
what about
small
this?
flaw.
A TikTok account where it's like anonymous, but it's for military stuff. Where I get Kate every day. Kate comes in.
Mm-hmm.
She goes up against the wall. We get like a dark shadow and have the voice thing.
Okay.
And we pretend that we're giving out national security secrets.
Okay. But even if I tried to, I would get it wrong. So that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stolen Valor Katie over here.
That'd be good for the TikTok, I think China would love that. Give us some more information. But 42 grand, that's the only reason why I don't care about giving away like the schematics of it. Like, who cares? But 42 grand to do this, crazy.
You're going to need more.
That's that move of somebody who's very lower enlisted who thinks 42 grand's a lot of money.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. You're absolutely right. We're pieces of shit when it comes to selling secrets for 42 grand.
Yeah, we need to up our game a little
bit. We really do. If you want to be safe, you can go with our friends at Simply Safe. Do you know that according to FBI property crime data, most home break-ins happen in broad daylight? As the days get longer in spring, protect your home with Simply Safe. It's the award-winning security system that I use on my house. Both experts and customers love Simply Safe for its comprehensive protection. It was just named the best home security of 2024, which I think it has been for like 5 years. Like we've been doing these ads for a long time. It's got to be 5 years. But that was by the U.S. News and World Report and recognized for the best customer service and home security by Newsweek. And advanced technology protects every single room, window, and door of your home with cameras to keep watch for suspicious activity 24/7. The system is backed by 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, and there's no long-term contract ever. You'll get the emergency response you need at half the cost of traditional home value. I love being able to go out of town and know that I can sign on at any time and look what's going on in my house. If the doorbell rings, I get a notification. I can see what's going on. I have every single, because I live backed up to an alley now. I need to see what's going on there.
Yes, you do.
And one day, it wasn't crime related, but
Two rats doing it.
Oh, no bunnies though. There's big time bunny fucking that happens at my house. They have cum in the belly all over the place. No,
I hate that.
No, that was probably bad to say.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. But I did catch my friend and my neighbor trying to be secretive, smoking cigs away from his wife and kids.
Oh no.
So now guess who's paying for my round on Saturday? That's what they call blackmail in the biz. With 24/7 live guard protection and smart alarm indoor cameras, agents can actually talk to intruders in real time, scaring them off. You install the system yourself and it's easy to do, or get professionals to come and do it and help you out. You could test it out. That's probably the VFW too. You could test it out with absolutely no risk to you with Simply Safe 60-day risk-free trial. don't like your system, you can return it for a full refund, but you're going to like it. Protect your home today. My listeners get a special 20% off on the new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/ZBT. That's simplysafe.com/ZBT. I want to talk one more minute, Kate, about the belly thing.
No,
Okay,
no,
we're not going to do that and not go back into it. Just a little.
No.
45 seconds of cum belly.
I hate even that term. I hate that
Cum
term.
belly?
I don't like hearing it.
All right, which one's worse, cum belly or underwear burps?
Cum belly is so much worse.
Annalise gets furious when I say underwear burps.
I mean, that's bad too.
It is. I think it's the most descriptive and dirtiest fart name.
Yeah.
I think I coined it too. Right? I think so.
Yeah, you may have.
Anyways, let's move on to some save rounds and alibis. Connor, we'll start with you.
Yeah, your buddy who's sneaking cigs in his backyard, like that's got to be one of the most ridiculous things that people attempt to hide. Like you stink. Like it's you can't hide it.
Yeah.
Unless you shower, brush your teeth, change your clothes, like you're gonna smell. So that buddy's
not just cigs. My kid McCartney will call it out for weed in a second.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
So I had this at my old place. I had this little log cabin, and I got it whenever me and Kyle went to Maine.
Yeah.
And you put this little cedar chunk in it or birch or whatever, and you set that on fire, and out the cabin in the chimney, a little bit of smoke comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And so at our old house, I used to tell Cardi, I just love the way that this smells, so I light it all the time when I'm in there. So whenever I come out smelling like weed, they're like, "Oh, you were lighting your cabin, Dad?" I'm like, yeah. But now we moved to Illinois where marijuana is legal, so they smell it all the time. And they came up and they were like, "I know you be smoking weed, Dad. I know you do it." I'm like,
at least you're not cigaretting.
Right. But cigarette's going to stay on you for years.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Years.
And then the only other thing I have, shout to Army lacrosse, the #1 team in the country, which I didn't realize in modern NCAA sanctioned sports, we haven't been #1 in the country in any sport since our 1958 football team. So it's pretty cool. You know, big target on our back now, but they're having a nice season, and hopefully they can keep it up and continue to win and just play well. So exciting.
Awesome.
At a school like West Point, when something like that happens, is there like extra clout that comes with those guys? Like, do you think they'll be treated a little bit different around campus now that they're on the #1 team in the country, since nobody else can claim that for the last, 70 years?
Yeah, more than that. Yeah. Well, no, I guess about 70. A little bit, like you might get recognized, or someone, you might have a teacher who might bring it up in class, but they do a good job of just kind of just blending in and keeping everything even across the board. It's not like they get to miss classes or get any sort of special treatment in that regard. So I don't think it's like other schools where you look at them and will pay reverence just because they're having a nice season.
How does West Point feel about coitus in the barracks?
No, I don't. Pretty sure you still can't do that. I know people who got kicked out for that.
Oh, for fucking.
Dang.
Wow.
Mhm.
One time?
Mm-hmm.
One time. That's like BYU rules.
I know.
Does
That's
anybody
crazy.
soak there,
Yeah,
Con?
soaking?
No, I don't know about that. It's interesting though.
If you're a West Point grad and you soaked in the barracks, hit us up.
Let us
Actually, email cons@barstoolsports.com.
You know what? The rule used to be you could not be on the same horizontal surface as a member of the opposite sex. Now, since then, the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and you can, be, in a same-sex relationship now in the military. I wonder if that rule got repealed. So like, chaps, if you now in theory, like you and I would not be able to be on the same horizontal surface.
Yeah, which would stink because that's how we like to watch movies together.
That's
true.
right.
That would be
That's
terrible.
true. That's tough.
That would be fucking
That
awful.
is tough.
Oh,
Anyway.
damn.
Yeah.
That was a downer. Ending
Sorry.
it like that.
Yeah.
Who am I supposed to? I'm not doing it with you. That's for sure. Broken back.
Not sitting horizontal with anyone anymore.
No.
Sad.
What about if you're in like a chair? Is that okay?
No.
That's horizontal.
Oh,
Horizontal.
that's vertical.
Oh, maybe if you find a new vertical
Yeah.
kind of vertical
Kitchen-
seating, like
kitchen
bunk
counter.
bed chairs.
Mm-hmm.
You could hang out and watch a movie together.
All right, Catherine, anything for you?
Oh, let's see.
I want to apologize. This is an extra horny episode for me.
And on that chick there was a flea, a rare flea, a rattling flea, flea in the egg, in the egg, in the nest, in the nest, in the branch, in the branch, in the limb, in the limb, in the tree, in the tree, in the hole, in the hole, in the bog, in the bog, down in the valley, yo, row, row, the red St. Patrick's Day weekend, bog down in the valley, yo, row, row, the rattling bog, the bog. No,
yours is different of mine.
Well, I fucked up.
Oh, mine was the flea on the hair, on the wart, on the frog, on the knot, on the log, in the hole, in the bottom of the sea.
I'll be damned. I do it differently over there. Well, not over here in Ireland.
Do you know all the states? Can you do that
song? The states?
The state song?
No, I want to talk about St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, okay.
That's what this is about. St. Patrick's Day's coming in Chicago. They're dyeing the river green. My brother and my niece are coming up that I probably shouldn't talk about it. I'm very excited to go see the river being dyed green.
Why can't you talk about that?
They don't like me talking about them.
Okay. I like how it's didn't even mention their names.
No,
just that Kate doesn't want to give out to anybody that she doesn't have cousins.
I have family.
We all know you have 780 cousins.
Anyway, I'm taking the Cash Buddy, my toddler, and then some family into the city on Sunday. I had booked this skyscraper. You go up in the skyscraper and you look out, the window tilts down.
The Willis Tower?
The Willis Tower. I booked us 4 tickets to that. And I didn't realize that it was St. Patrick's Day somehow. So it'll be my son's first time seeing super hammered drunk people.
That seems like a great spot to be if you have 9 spots in your back that are broken.
Yeah, to go up into the Willis Tower and lean down on the glass. I made these reservations before I knew I was made of glass.
You can't lean.
Sure, I can.
Are you gonna try to lean?
No, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna watch them do it. But anyway, that should be fun. St. Patrick. I fucking love St. Patrick's Day. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a great day.
I don't really have anything. Been a slow week here.
I will say this.
Oh, wait, no. I got a bunch of guns. I got guns. If you haven't seen, go to our YouTube or Rumble or wherever.
Airsoft.
Me and Sydney Wells, who runs our Barstool Outdoors, we're going to have some competitions going on. She brought in Oh, you can't reach over it. But there's these pistols that they sent. I was going to have duels with the pistols. Too dangerous even for me.
Lose your eyes. Shoot your eye out.
Thank you.
This one, because it has like the compressed air that it shoots, I set up some boxes at the back of the hallway and shot through it and went all the way through to cardboard.
Yeah, you don't want to do that to your skin then, I guess, up close.
Too much. I still got a spot on mine from a couple weeks ago on my belly.
Well, I can't wait to see we should have a little bet going who loses an eye first.
Oh, hopefully it's me.
It could be.
And then I'd be a pirate. That would be awesome. All right, we'll see you next week. Sound the Retreat.